What up, though? This is Knockout. What up, though? This is Knockouts in 3 Counts. But before we bring you another episode of Podcast Gold, let me tell you about the homies over at Michigan's Finest. Do you ever find yourself trying to get yourself together and thinking, man, this is going to be a great night, but I'm looking for that little extra something? Well, check out our friends at Michigan Finest. If you are into medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, concentrates, vapes, anything of that sort, Michigan's Finest has got you covered. And as you can see here, it's all easily done by their website. It's all curbside, and you'll be in and out in 2 minutes. And they're family owned and operated, so customer service is their #1 goal. And now, since they are rocking with Knockouts in 3 Counts, use the code KO3MF. Yes, that's KO3MF. You get 10% off your entire order, but that does exclude featured items and items that are already on sale. But if you use that code, you're getting 10% off your items, and I promise you, either if you're looking for that big knockout or you're ready to hit the sheets for that 3 count, Michigan's Finest will get you together. Tell them Knockouts in 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, you're going to be having a great night. Peace.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts in 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts in 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is another Tuesday, and boy, do we got some shit to talk today. And boy, with that intro, you know, it might be like Nostradamus in this bitch, because that's right. It's the return of the baddest you've ever seen, boy. It's the return of our boy, Shane Taylor. How the hell you doing, brother, man?
Man, I'm good, man. Life is good. The past week or so has been busier than normal, obviously, for a bunch of reasons, but I'm truly excited, man. Getting ready to go to work. You know what I mean? Getting ready to do what we do, and that's go out and steal the show.
Hey, man, J-Bone was just as ready as I was. All of you guys who are tuning in to check this out, let us know where you're checking in from. Make sure you share it, like it, comment, all that good shit. I appreciate y'all. But first of all, I guess that's as good a place as any. J-Bone, I'll let you go first since I was on the phone when you sent it to me, so I wasn't even watching live. What were your thoughts when we saw the homie Shane show up on Rampage?
Look, man, like you said before, we've been rocking with Shane for a long time, bro. So to honestly, surprisingly see you pop up in AEW alongside Keith Lee, one, brings back a lot of memories, takes us down memory lane. Two, the surprise factor there was awesome. I just looked at him like with a smile on my face, like, man, that's what's up. It's about time they woke up in AEW.
Woke up, period. We've been telling people what time it was for a while.
I mean, this is the thing about wrestling. You know, I mean, you can't really blame them. You know, I mean, they're going with the best options that they feel they have available at the time. When you have a situation like when ROH closed down, there was a bunch of releases from WWE as well. It's this surge of talent, you know what I mean, that you didn't expect to have fall into your lap, and you sift through however you can. You go with the best options that you feel as though you have available, as with any group, any company, any sport. You know what I mean? You have a whole bunch of free agents that come in. You're going to go with, you know, the most notable first, and then work your way through the whole group. You know what I mean? So it was a matter of timing. It was a matter of opportunity. And it just so happens that, you know, it's lining up right now. And to sit here and think about what could have been, what should have been, yada, 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 makes nobody any difference. It doesn't do anybody any good. It doesn't make anybody any money. So my job now is, now that I have this, now that we're in this tag team match, myself and JD Griffey against Swerve in our glory at Final Battle, my job now is to go out and do what everybody who's been a fan of me for years knows that I can do, and to now show whoever doesn't know who I am, like we said before we went live, this is my Jay-Z moment. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Let me show you why I am Shane T. Boy, the baddest champion you've ever seen, boy, the baddest of all time, why I am every bit the guy that I say that I am.
Well, that brings as good a place as any to start, man. Like, like we were talking about before we hit that red button, we've been keeping up with you for quite a while. We just saw you most recently down with the Impact tapings and all that kind of stuff. And this last year, I mean, like we said before, you've been making a run out on the indies. You've seen you everywhere against everybody. Like, I mean, it's not like when Ring of Honor closed that you just all of a sudden up and just sat down. Like, you've been having matches everywhere against a lot of names. So with all that being said, take me a little bit through the last year and what the mindset was working through some of that stuff. And I guess, how did we end up where we're at now, to where you were in Ring of Honor when they closed down, and then now, of all places for you to end back up, here we are talking about Ring of Honor Final Battle.
I mean, yeah, if we're going to backtrack the year, then we probably got to go back to last year's Final Battle, Fight Without Honor with Kenny King. A lot of people were saying that we stole the show. I feel like probably the only match that could challenge that, and this is no disrespect to anybody, this is just how I personally feel, was OGK versus the Briscoes. But anytime you get those four men in a ring, it's going to be magic. You know what I mean? I just saw them do it again at WrestleCade this past year, and they tore it up again. You know what I mean? But with everything going on at that point, me under the assumption this is going to be my last time in a Ring of Honor ring, a place that I just dedicated 6 years of my life to. I'd very much grown up there, and sort of cut my teeth there with some of the very best in the world. That was my moment, along with Kenny, to go out there and put a cap on a 2-year story, to go out there and absolutely do what we felt we were capable of doing, to deliver a performance that people would talk about.
Shane, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Hang on.
It says you muted the mic.
Can't hear him for some reason. J-Bone, can you still hear me?
I can hear him. I can hear him loud and clear,
I can't
dude.
hear them. Okay.
Yeah, it says he muted my mic.
Keep going.
Technical difficulties, man.
All right. So, so going through that match with Kenny, obviously the big takeaway from that was the celebration as well. We brought out Cheeseburger, Caprice, all my guys in STP, Ron, O'Shea, Khan, Moses, Eli, and we all gave a big salute at the end of the match. People went wild with that and, thought it was some crazy thing, but it was us paying respects to not only all of us who were in the ring, who have been there, who are busting their asses and trying to inspire future generations that look like us, but to also give an homage to the past of everybody who's come through those doors, not even just in ROH, but in wrestling, period, that allowed us to stand on that platform. So, we did that and made that memory. And then began, a crazy year. And when it first started, we were sitting there, me and the guys talk every day. And we're watching the landscape change. We're watching people come and go. We're watching, this person go here, this person go there. And it was, and like I told them from the gate, it was going to be a matter of time. It wasn't a question of if, it was a question of when, and how long that was going to take, depends on several factors. Obviously, I didn't think that it was going to take the entire year, but regardless of when it comes, you're excited for the opportunity. You're ready to go do what you got to do. You're ready to showcase yourself. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So for me, it was just about staying sharp. Like you said, was crushing the independent scene, carrying 4 championships at one time, the VIP, WrestleK, TRB, Branded Outlaw, Texoma, Red River World Championships. I'm out here competing against, Brian Keith, Mysterious Q, and so many of the top level independent stars, guys like Ryan Davidson, all these guys, Izzy James, crushing it, absolutely putting on bangers every single time I go through the curtain. And for me, I just wanted that to be able to show people and continue the momentum that I had leaving ROH, I was saying there for years, I was the most consistent performer, was one of the best. And I was the guy, and I prided myself on being the guy that you could put in there with anybody. I don't care who it was, international star, trainee on his first match. It didn't matter who it was. You could put them in there with me, and everybody in that building was going to feel like they got their money's worth. And that's the momentum that I carried all year, and now here we are, damn near to the day. I think by the time the pay-per-view comes around, it'll be 362 days or something like that, from the time that I stepped into a Ring of Honor ring last. And so I'm absolutely chomping at the bit to go back out there and steal the show again.
Kyle, you back?
Well, this match has got all the makings of it. Yeah, I'm back. It was a Bluetooth thing. Bluetooth kept trying to hook up to my phone, and I didn't realize it. So I could hear y'all, but with that being said, like I said, when you showed up at Rampage, I was on the phone with Devin, and J Bone's the one that kind of told me what happened. And when I saw the picture, all I saw is you and Keith Lee, and my first thought is, oh shit, the Pretty Boy Killer's about to tag team AEW. What the fuck's going on right now? And then when I saw the promo, I'm like, oh shit, this.
Kyle's having some technical difficulties, man.
I was gonna say, did he freeze for anybody?
He's having a bad night.
Okay.
All right, now I'm back.
There you go.
Come
back
on.
now.
Good Lord, my internet is shitty right now. Good Lordy.
You got that Michigan internet.
Now we're back. Jesus Christ, I got McDonald's internet. Good Lord. Any other time we have no issues. Today, it's all over the fucking place. Clearly, it's like my internet was scared because they knew Shane was coming on today. It's like there's some kind of blocker or something.
I'm out here scaring
Jesus
Wi-Fi.
Christ, Corey's iPad don't work. Internet don't work. I mean, shit, I guess the neighbor's trying to steal my Wi-Fi. Like, it's a great day. See, Corey's chiming in the comments. Episode full of difficulties. You ain't lying. But what I was trying to say before the internet said fuck you and before it says fuck you again, with that being said, I saw the picture, like I said, and I'm like, shit, is he teaming with Keith again? And I'm like, and then when I saw the promo, I'm like, oh shit. So tell me what the mindset was. Why Keith? How did we get to where we're going to be at with Ring of Honor Final Battle? Because like I said, we're well aware that you and Keith are no strangers to each other, but for those who may be casual fans, like we were talking about before we went live, tell me how we got here and why Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, and while it may not seem like that because of my actions on Rampage, is one of my best friends in the world. He's a big brother to me, and what a lot of people don't know about our crew of guys, the circle of people that I roll with, is we are a group that lives for competition. You know what I mean? And the best way to bring out the best of each other is competing against each other. Whether that be myself or Ray Rowe or anybody else. You surround yourself with lions like that, with warriors like that. The last thing you want to do is be last place in that group. And so, 5-6 years ago, when me and Keith both walked into ROH, we were tag teaming. We were PBK. We were the Pretty Boy Killers. We were absolutely wrecking shop against anybody that they put in front of us. Even beat the Briscoes, beat War Machine. You know what I mean? And the legendary tag team that then turned into Viking Raiders. You know what I mean? Like, we beat that team. You know what I mean? So we had everything going. I saw a tweet saying that we were scheduled for a tag team title shot that March, right? And I do believe the champions at the time were the Young Bucks, right? So that would have put us in there right there. And you're talking about two guys who at that point had been teaming less than 2 years. So to be able to run through a roster like that they had at the time, which is one of the best tag team rosters on the planet at that point, that kind of shows you the momentum and the potential that we had as a team. Now, this business is just that. It's a business, right? So different opportunities came along for Keith. Me and him talked about those. He exercised his option to take those and to do what he thought best for his family. That's absolutely fine. That's what he's supposed to do. For me, and I talked about competition. My job then, I immediately saw it as, okay, wherever you go next, the race is on. The race is going to be who has the better singles career, who's going to be the man, who's going to be the guy that when they look back and they go, okay, notable opponents. It's no different than like college football, right? It's like, okay, strength of schedule, championships, who rises to the top first, right? And when you look at Keith's run, NXT champion, North American champion, first dual champion, so many moments, you know, from NXT to the main roster, probably the most notable, him in the Royal Rumble with Brock, him in the Survivor Series with Roman, you know, was absolutely crushing it. And then, you know, he got sick and had to take care of his health because that's the most important thing. And then when he came back, he was sort of trying to get that footing back and get back the momentum that he had. And business has a weird way of working, you know, and they decided to part ways. He winds up in AEW to much fanfare, as he should have, goes on to team with Swerve Strickland, who is also one of the very best performers in the world, has been for the past decade plus. And they damn near immediately go on a tear and win the AEW World Tag Team titles, right? So that just shows you, you know, the level of competition that they bring, the talent that they bring to the absolute best in the world. And on my side of it, I was looking for something for a while, was looking to dial things in, join the rebellion with Red Titus, Kenny King, and Caprice Coleman. And what that allowed me to do was to stop going through the woods blindly. It allowed me to have a guide, and they kind of guided me through all the pitfalls of, you know, wrestling on those platforms and dealing with a lot of the things that come with that, from the politics to PR and all the things that you got to do. And that allowed me to hone my focus, to create Shane Taylor Promotions, to go on to become Ring of Honor World Television Champion, only the third black male in the history of the company, the 20-year history of that company to do that, to go on probably, you know, the most dominant run, one of, if not the most dominant TV title run of all time. Second run, maybe only to Jay Lethal's, but again, people say that, you know, mine is their favorite. To then bringing up, you know, my guys with me, Khan, Moses, O'Shea, Edwards, Ron Hunt, creating Shane Taylor Promotions. It was, and that by itself was incredible, because for years, people had told me there's no way that you're going to be able to make a group like this here. There's no way that you're going to be able to do this here. They will not let it happen. There's no way you're going to do it. It's impossible. And yet here we are, you know, went on to then win the Ring of Honor World 6-man Tag Team Champions. And again, put a championship in our hands, and we deliver the most dominant run that people have ever seen. So we did that as well. And to be able to work with so many superstars, so many great talents, and not only compete against them, but beat them. I believe there was a stat saying we were 11-0 up until last year's Final Battle. STP was 11-0 in trios matches, in multi-man matches. We didn't lose. And the only part about me that would change that night would be, you know what? No, nothing about it would change, because I could sit there and say, well, I wish that I could go in there and compete twice, but I have had and have all the confidence in the world in all my guys. Eventually someone's going to have your number. It just so happened to be that day. Got nothing but love and respect for O'Shea, Moses, Khan. Boys gave everything that night. Just wasn't their night. I went on to steal the show with Kenny King. And so now comparing those careers, now you look at this and you could argue, okay, 2 championships apiece, pay-per-view moments, memorable moments. It's still, although he's on the higher platform, I'm not going to say he's not, but that's still a fairly similar accolades, right? And so now for me, it's like that team that traded you get to play them again, right? And you didn't think that you were going to get that chance. And so now we're here. Now we're at a point to where we can get the matchup that people have been talking about for years that nobody thought was actually going to happen. And now we get to deliver that live on pay-per-view. So I'm incredibly excited. I'm incredibly motivated. I am looking forward to not only stepping in the ring with Keith, but stepping in there with a good friend of mine in JD Griffey, and stepping in there for the first time with Swerve Strickland. We've run in the same circles, but for whatever reason, we've never competed against each other. So now we get to do that. And there's so many emotions in this match. There's so much to draw from. There's so many great stories to tell. And I'm excited, man. It's an opportunity to open a lot of eyes, and to close any mouth that has anything to say.
Well, speaking about closing mouths, we got a question in the comments that I feel like goes right along with what you were saying. But before I get to that question, and speaking about scared money don't make money and all those things, make sure you check out our other sponsors at G3 Payroll and Tax. Make sure you get ready for tax time. I know you motherfuckers are already mailing your taxes out because I'm too busy slinging the mail when I'm not doing these interviews here, which is why you need to hit the subscribe button so I can stop having to sling the mail. But get your taxes right for tax season. Make sure you check out G3 Payroll and Tax. Tell them Knockouts and 3 Counts sent you. But with that being said, Brock's got a good question. He wants to know, why do you think that you didn't get the recognition sooner from an AEW or a WWE? Why do you think it took so long, I think is what he's saying.
Bro, that could be a variety of reasons. Who knows, man? Like there's so much that goes on in the decision-making processes. Sometimes it's not even that people don't like you. It's just that they don't have something solid for you in that moment. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, especially at that level, they know you're talented. They know that you can do this. They know that you can do that. And they're just not gonna waste your time if they don't feel like they have something for you. You know what I mean? Like, why not just let you keep doing what you're doing until an opportunity presents itself, right? So a lot of that isn't necessarily, them not wanting to or not being interested. It's just, okay, well, where do we put them? You know what I mean? And when you look at a lot of these rosters, there's a lot of people there. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we bring them in, what do we do with them? Where do we put them? How does this work? And if they can't readily answer those questions, then they kind of just have to stay with the status quo until they can, and I'm sure some people have their reasons for this and that too, whatever the case may be. But my job is not to worry about that. My job is to show up and put folks to sleep. My job is to knock people the fuck out, get my check and go home. So anything anything outside of the realm of doing that is no longer my concern.
I mean, the shirt says One Punch Taylor. I mean, you can get you all at Pro Wrestling Tees.
You know what I mean? Right. It's just one of those things, man. Like the past year was challenging, but in every good way. You know what I mean? Because and it took me the year to realize that. So I'm actually not upset that it took this long. I'm actually happy about that because it allowed me to get to a place mentally to take advantage of the opportunities that would be put in front of me, you know, dealing with just personal stuff and understanding that everybody who says they're in your corner is not, you know what I mean? And for someone like me, when you have to deal with stuff like that, it makes you start second guessing everything, right? Because for me, I pride myself on being someone who can read people well and read character well. That's how I've made it to, 36 years old. You know what I mean? That's how I've survived. So when you have people here and there who sort of infiltrate that circle, or you feel like you were wrong about, you start questioning everything. You're like, damn, like, am I doing this right or this right or this right or this right? You know what I mean? So you start breaking everything down because, you feel like maybe you're losing that edge that has made you successful, right? And it took me, this long to realize, like, no, that's just them. You know what I mean? And once I'm able to compartmentalize that and then talk to the guys and them reassure me to, like, hey man, you know what I mean? We believe in what you're doing and your leadership and where you're taking us and all of that. That allowed me to get right back into that level of thinking and level of focus you need to be able to compete at this level. And so now that's exactly who AEW is getting. They are getting the Shane Taylor that is focused, that is ready to absolutely go out there and steal every show that I'm on, not just Final Battle, but anyone you put me on. So this is the version that all of the people close to me love, and the people who have to compete against me would rather not see.
Hey man, sounds like the best recipe for me. And Leonard, I appreciate all the questions and comments in here, my guy. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But I couldn't agree more. I already was going to watch ROH Final Battle, but he says that you being on the show clinched him buying Final Battle. So, I mean, you're already buying pay-per-views for AEW as well. So, if anybody from AEW ends up seeing this, I'm just saying. But with that being said, you led right into another thing that is something I want to talk about a lot about. Going into this match, like we mentioned, you have JD Griffey as your tag partner this time. Somebody new in your corner from the last time we had you on the show, because the last time we had you on the show, we had fellow past guests of the show, Khan and Moses you had Khan and Moses with you. So with that being said, tell me a little bit more about JD Griffey. I'm newer to him. I went back and did my dive in after I heard you announce the match on Friday and things like that. Tell me why JD Griffey's the right partner for this, and how'd y'all end up linked up for this one?
JD Griffey is someone that I've known for years. He's one of Keith Lee's best friends. Incredible Muay Thai fighter. Has competed. He's an incredible athlete, incredible fighter. And if you're going into a battle with somebody like Keith Lee, you want someone who knows Keith Lee. I know Keith Lee too, right? But JD's known him longer than me, right? He knows even more about him than I do. So when you go into battles like this, it's not just about the physical, it's about the mental as well. It's about picking up on subtle nuances and tendencies and understanding what makes your opponent tick, what their motivations are. Are they going to be hesitant? Are they going to wait? Are they going to deliver that shot when they need to? Or are they going to wait because of emotion or friendship or that brotherhood? And I know JD as someone who will not hesitate. Same as me, I don't hesitate. I will absolutely deliver that shot to anybody when I feel like it's the right time to, or I have the opening to. And so going into battle with someone like Keith, who is every bit as good as he says he is, you need every advantage possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a long fucking night. You know what I mean? So that's my goal there. And JD has sort of been that little brother figure for us for a while. And like I told him, you can only be little brother, but for so long. You know, and then eventually you've got to take that step. You've got to take that step out and be the man. If you ask Caprice Coleman, if you ask Kenny King, and if you ask Rhett Titus, you know what I mean? I'm not little brother anymore. You know what I mean? Now they look at me as a peer. They look at me as the guy. You know what I mean? So that's what I want for JD. And now we're at a point to where all of these things can be decided in one match. You know, he can take that next step. I get to have my match with Keith. Swerve and Keith have to figure out how they're going to coexist as a team. Otherwise, you know, the former AEW tag team champions are going to get beaten and embarrassed on pay-per-view. You know, they're going to have to figure that out. They're going to have to work that out. And we're going to do all of this for the entertainment and the pleasure of the fans. So we're excited, man.
J-Bone, I've been flapping my gums. What you got for Shane?
Man. Timing is everything, man. I kind of got a legacy question for you, man. So, last time you were on the show, we had a big question mark over, you know, the status of Ring of Honor and where it was going, and the direction it was headed with AEW and all that. Mm-hmm. A year later, here we are at Final Battle 2022, man. What does it mean to you to still have your name attached to the legacy of Ring of Honor? Because when you think of the best of Ring of Honor, Shane Taylor's right up there with the top guys, maybe even the top guy. What does that mean to you to still have your name attached to the legacy of Ring of Honor going forward?
It means the world, man. Because for someone like me, right, of course, when you get into the sport, you want to make your cash, you want to provide for your family, you want to do all of that, right? That goes without saying. But I think personally for me, I want my legacy to be is I want, and of course I appreciate all the fan love, right? That's again, it's another given. What I want for myself is I want those guys in that golden era. I want guys like the Briscoes. I want guys like Samoa Joe, Danielson, McGinnis, Low-Key, Homicide, all these guys, right? All these incredible talents. When they look at how I approached the sport, how I handled my business in the ring, out of it, the level of dedication, the way I went about everything, dealing with the boys in the back, you know, standing up for what I believe is right at any point in time, regardless of the consequence. I want them to be able to look back at my era and go, he did it the right way. He did it the way you're supposed to do it. And he's one of us. You know what I mean? I want them to be able to say, you could put Shane Taylor in that golden era of ROH and he'd have still been the man in any era. Right. So that's really what's the legacy that I want. That's what I want to shine through. And so to be able to be on this stage again, to be able to step back into a Ring of Honor ring, you know, which I did not think was ever going to happen again. It only then serves to be more of a drive, more of a motivator to go out there and absolutely put on the best performance possible and to go out there and shock the world.
Well, I mean, you're in the perfect time for you to be able to do that too, because you mentioned names like Danielson. I mean, right now you've got Danielson, Castagnoli, you've got a lot of those ROH names that are synonymous with the brand in AEW or Ring of Honor right now. So, and with that being said, the one name that obviously you can see that I left out, you've already mentioned, you know, as we know, and as it says in our intro, you know, at the time you were the ROH television champ. currently you've got one of those originals that we talked about in Samoa Joe holding that belt. So, I mean, obviously the goal right now is to take out Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. I'm saying Swerve Scott like we're watching NXT still. Jesus Christ. But with that being said, obviously Keith Lee and Swerve are object number one. But with that being said, is the TV title and Joe something that you have on your radar as well? Or is it just anybody can get it right now?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head right now. Nothing else happens if we don't take care of business first, right? So the very first thing, what's first and foremost on my mind is Final Battle and Swerve in Our Glory. Not looking past them whatsoever. You absolutely can't, or it's going to be a short night. If we're just assuming and living in this world that all things go to plan, then yeah. In my opinion, Dragon Lee need me in the face with a chain. I lose my TV title, never get a rematch for it, right? Even though everybody in wrestling knows when the champion loses, you get your rematch. We all know this. Somehow, Shane Taylor was never afforded that rematch. Then his brother Roosh, beats me because Kenny King wraps a chair around my head. I never get another opportunity at the Ring of Honor World title, which, to be fair, I wasn't going to ever get if it wasn't for that fan vote. So I appreciate the fans for that. But the folks in charge then didn't even want me competing for that championship. And I completely understand why, because somebody like me with that championship is a headache for them because they don't get to play puppet master with me. For me, the very first thing is Swerve in Our Glory. And then I would absolutely love to have that match with Samoa Joe. I feel as though that could be something that people talk about for years to come. You're talking about arguably the baddest man in his era, me being the baddest man in mine, and seeing who really is the man, you know what I mean? And who's going to walk away with the Ring of Honor World Championship, TV Championship, maybe both. Who knows? You know what I mean? He's obviously got a match with Juice Robinson that he's got to get ready for. Juice is no slouch, 3-time IWGP United States champion. Juice is going to give him every bit of his money's worth. So he's got to worry about that. But down the road, who knows, man? And and after that, who knows? I don't think that my Ring of Honor legacy can be complete if I don't win the Ring of Honor World Championship at some point. So for me, I think all of those things are still possible. They are still things that need to be checked off the list. And for anybody watching, I'm not just talking about ROH either. This is AEW as well. The AEW World Championship, that's on my list too. As well as every other championship and every other opponent that could possibly want any smoke. You know what I mean? Like, at some point would absolutely love to get back in the ring with the Bucks. Never been in the ring with Kenny Omega. I want that to happen. There's so many talents, so many people that I would love to compete with and punch in the face and see if they can take that. You know what I mean? So we'll see. All these things are on the table. But again, first things first, it's Final Battle. It's Keith Lee. It's Swerve Strickland. And it's, the prodigal son returning after a year. You know what I mean? I kind of feel like Ali when they stripped him of his license and he couldn't fight. And now I'm able to come back and take back what should have never been lost. I get to come back and reclaim what's mine, and that is Ring of Honor itself. And be that guy again. So I'm truly excited for it.
Well, with that being said, I mean, I kind of want to know your thoughts. I mean, you're as good as of anybody to ask of this, and you said that the thing to cap off your Ring of Honor legacy would be winning that Ring of Honor title. What are your thoughts on Chris Jericho being ROH champ and saying that he's the greatest ROH champ of all time? What do you think?
That's exactly what he should say. You know, that's if you're in this position and you're in this sport and you don't feel as though you're the best to ever do it, and you don't say that, and you don't convince yourself of that, you've got to convince yourself first before anybody else is going to believe it. And Jericho has a track record that allows him to say that shit. You know what I mean? Like he can say that. He's more than likely already the most famous and most notable champion that there's ever been. So 2 of those are already checked off just by him winning it, right? But now he gets to go and defend the championship now against someone like Claudio, who is an absolute machine. And if he can beat Claudio and continue to go on a run with the level of competition that Claudio presents, it's going to be hard to argue that fact. You know, everybody's going to look at length of reign with Samoa Joe, look at the defenses with someone like Jay Lethal, or look at just the sheer dominance of someone like Jay Briscoe. These are the legacies that you are going up against. But again, being Chris Jericho helps a lot. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what he should say. I'm sure he believes every word of it, as well as he's going to need to, because it's going to be on Claudio to get the title back, become a 2-time champion, which not a lot of people get the chance to do. And we're going to see. I'm excited for it. And whoever wins, congratulations. But just know, at some point in time, I don't care who has it, by the time I get there, they're going to have to come see me.
You just made the list. You just made the list.
I mean, you know, gimmick infringement notwithstanding, you know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, speaking of lists and all those things, you know, we all know that you're an avid fight fan just like us. So I had to ask your opinion on a few things outside of the pro wrestling world. Number one, how are you feeling about this Izzy knockout, bro? Because we're always talking MMA and boxing every time I talk to you.
Right.
I, for one, thought that Izzy had that shit in the bag. And then put it this way. If this tells you how much I was looking forward to seeing that, I was on commentary for live fights when this shit was going on. And I heard what the fuck happened. And I went back and got the pay-per-view after the fact because I wanted to see the shit. So I just want to know, what were you thinking about Izzy? And do you want to see another immediate rematch with that?
That's the thing about the fight game, man. It's crazy, bro. At any point in time, one shot could end it, man. Could completely change the course of a fight. Like we saw that with Leon and Usman. You know what I mean? Usman was winning 24 minutes and 50 seconds of a 25-minute fight. You know what I mean? As dominant as you could possibly hope to be in just one kick, man, one moment of, I guessed wrong. I thought this was coming and this was coming. Like just like that, it could all be over, right? So for Izzy to go in there with a guy who's already beaten him twice, or maybe, already beaten him twice in different...
And knocked him out cold.
Right, in different avenues. To face that alone, he needs to be commended for it. That takes some intestinal fortitude, right? Like that's fucking tough to do, right? And not a lot of people on this planet can fucking do that, but he's one of them to go out there, face it multiple times, and then to be
and to handle
winning,
it with class.
You know what I mean? To be handling it, right, is one thing. Gets caught, you know, you could argue maybe you let him go on longer, maybe you err on the side of caution. Who knows? That's the ref's call. It is what it is. But ultimately, it doesn't go his way. And then the poise to be able to, you know, give full credit and do the things that he's done after the fact. You got to respect the guy. You know what I mean? So I hope he gets another shot at it. I don't know if they do an immediate rematch You know what I mean? Like, just
I heard they were trying to line it up for that Australia card.
I mean, if they do, hey, it might be the best thing because it's fresh. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? And you don't risk any mistake because, like, for example, you know, there was a period with like the light heavyweight title before Jones secured it, where it was like hot potato. Like one guy had it, another guy had it, another guy, like right no one could defend it. Like, you know what I mean? And so you definitely, if you're trying to make this money, then you do the rematch. And because if not, then you risk, you know, the champ losing or Adesanya losing, you know, like, so there's so much money in the air. The immediate rematch probably makes sense. But yeah, man, if they do it, I feel like if they do it again, he's going to have to get one of them, right? Like there's to beat him 4 times in a row.
This is the last one regardless.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he'd be lucky if it weren't for the fact he has the resume that he has in MMA, like under normal circumstances, like there's no way he gets this fight back anyway, because with that second knockout, you lost 3 and got knocked out twice.
Yeah, but that's the first one in MMA, right? And
no, I agree. That's why I said if it wasn't MMA, if it weren't for the fact that he had his resume in the UFC, like leading up to this last fight with Pereira, dude, there's no way they run that back. The only thing that gives Izzy that buffer is his resume.
I mean, but he's earned it. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly why you build up a resume like that. You know what I mean? Is to have these sort of opportunities, you know what I mean, be rewarded to you for that hard work. My question is, let's say he goes out and he sparks Pereira, right? Do they not do a third?
Oh, dude, Pereira's got to get a rematch after this.
You would have.
That's what I'm saying. So it's hard to say this is it no matter what, because it's like
they could run this back again. If Izzy wins, they got to run it back again.
Right. So then you would have boom, and then even still, right? So let's live in the world where Izzy sparks him, right? Boom. It's now 3-1. They run a rematch. He beats him again, 3-2. But you're still looking at 3-2.
At this point, let's go best of 7. Fuck it.
You know what I mean? I feel like you would have to. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, you might as well just start fucking. You might as well go to K1. You know what I'm saying? Do that. Do some other shit because they got to figure this out. But it's what's so dope about this though is it's almost like some real life anime shit, and he's found his counterpart. You know, he's found his villain, he's found his whatever that is you know always had his number, so to speak. So now it's on the hero to see if he can conquer that. Can he find that Super Saiyan? Can he find that? I know he's a big Naruto fan. Can he find that? You know, that sage energy or what have you to overcome this? You know, this obstacle. And I am looking forward to seeing him do that. You know what I mean? That's no shade to Pereira, but I'm always going to go with the underdog and hope that he can make history. And I still think people are very much looking forward to all the potential money-making fights with Izzy. I'm sure that John Jones match, although, you know, is people talk about it, like that's a thing that people that they're still talking about. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But first, he's got to get past Pereira.
You're not kidding.
Izzy's most important fight, dude, is going to be his next fight because
absolutely
this guy went on a run and he got his Rocky moment back there. He's brought back down to earth, dude. And now you're looking at a very, very hungry ex-champ. So his next fight is definitely going to be his most important of his career.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw a wrench into that, though. Here's the other question, though. I've heard a lot of people, including past guests of this show and the former commentator of Monday Night Raw, Jimmy Smith, said the same. What do you think about Pereira as champion between then? Because we know him and Izzy are going to run it back, but man, it's been a while since I've heard a champion, much less a champion who knocked out the other champion, get ate up the way Pereira has, because I've heard multiple pundits talk about how Pereira is like the most vulnerable of the UFC champions because he can't fight on the ground like that.
Here's my thing, right? People will always say negative shit like that, but my question is, well, then show me who the fuck is beating him, right? Like, everybody would talk shit about Floyd, like, oh, he's vulnerable. He's vulnerable. Motherfucker's 50-0. He's been vulnerable for 50 fights. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ain't been touched, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so if this is his weakness, right? Here's the thing: fights don't start on the ground, though, homie. They don't. They start standing the fuck up, right? Yeah. And if I'm so good at standing up that you can't get me to the ground, guess what the fuck I don't have to worry about? The ground. So until you present someone to me that can hang with what I do, I'm not worried about the rest of the shit. I'm sure Pereira's not either. And people act like he's not working on that, I'm sure, every day with world-class people to make sure that just like in case.
Coach Glover Teixeira.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
a fellow champ.
Like some of these pundits kill me, bro, because they're like they act like he's just never done wrestling or jiu-jitsu ever in life. You know what I mean? And like, if he gets on the ground, he's going to have no idea what to do. Like, no, I know what to do. I would rather not, because this is my bread and, this is what I do. You know what I mean? So if, again, all fights start standing, and if no one can stand with this fucking dude, they're not getting him to the ground, because by the time they try to do it, they're fucking asleep.
I mean, he's already proved he'll put your ass to sleep like NyQuil. Speaking of that, and speaking of
who was homie that was talking shit to Izzy and saying that, like,
Strickland.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was just saying, bro, the fucking internet is undefeated.
And Izzy told him, if you fuck around and don't take him serious, he's gonna put your ass to sleep. And look what happened.
Like, and the internet is undefeated, bro. They went back, found the exact clip, put music to it, put a montage to it, bro. Had this motherfucker had everything. You know what I mean? Like, just brutal. And the internet don't give a fuck about nobody, bro. And then it happens. You know what I mean? So, like, these are some of the very best guys in the world at what they do, and if they can't touch this dude to get him to the ground, that just shows you what different kind of level he must be on striking wise to be able to hold this off. So pundits can say what they want, man, but until someone comes along and does something to the guy, you kind of got to shut the fuck up. You really kind of just got to shut the fuck up and wait to see what happens.
Somebody proves them otherwise.
Exactly.
All right. So with that being said, and talking about the fights on the feet, did you see Wonerboy like put the fucking feet to Kevin Holland on Saturday?
I missed that one. What happened?
Holy shit. Those are the most spinning wheel kicks I've ever seen someone get hit in the head with. Not get hit with, get hit in the fucking head with in one fight. Like, it literally got to the point where Kevin Holland is so hurt that he won't go down, but Wonerboy is just throwing spinning wheel kicks and smacking this dude upside the head, switching and throwing head kicks and smacking this dude upside the head, to the point where apparently Kevin Holland broke his hand in the first round, and then they never even thought about shooting. And man, Wonerboy fucking put it on Kevin Holland. Like, I mean, that was probably the best Wonerboy's looked in a long time, huh?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Again, these motherfuckers are elite, man. But here's the thing: you see performances like that, and it's a tough thing to see someone like Holland go through, because he's such a good dude and such an amazing fighter and such a great personality too. I was watching him early on, and he was just talking mad shit in the cage, and just, you know what I mean? Just it was so funny to me. Be like, hell yeah, that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Just talking shit while you're beating some dude's ass. But like, to be on that, and again, sometimes that's just your fucking night, man. That's just how it goes, bro. Like, there's nothing you could do about it, and that's just what it was. But it also puts into perspective, now that people see what Wonerboy is capable of on that level, it makes that Belal Muhammad performance even more impressive, that he was able to shut that down and control Wonerboy and keep him at distance, get him to the ground and do all that. And I really think that people who don't fight don't understand just how difficult that shit is. And it's not like, oh, he's just going out there and wrestling. No, fucker. Like why am I going to let this dude kick me in the fucking face? I'm not. I'm not.
And he's training with Khabib. If I was training with Khabib and had Khabib telling me how to fucking beat up bears and shit, guess what? I'm gonna go out there and wrestle a motherfucking bear. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just saying, I ain't mad at you at all.
If I'm talking to somebody like like Khabib, and that's my coach, and he's telling me to fight smart, and hey, do not take these risks when you don't have to. Do not sit here and put yourself in a bad spot when you don't have to be. Because at the end of the day, look, all these fans cheering for blood and guts and cheering for people to go out there and be warriors and do all this shit, you're not taking the fucking punishment. You're not. Yeah, you're all these motherfuckers going, he needs to go out there and fight like this. You aren't paying his hospital bills. You're not putting his fucking kids through school. You're not paying for his groceries if he can't fight again. None of that shit. All you are going to do is talk shit on the internet about how he got knocked the fuck out. You don't give a shit. So whoever it is, has to fight the exact way they need to fucking fight to win. And I don't care what anybody else feels about the shit, because that's how they make their money. It makes no sense. And you could put anybody else in that spot, right? All the people talking shit. If you told them, hey, right, I will pay you $5 million to get punched 5 times, or I'll pay you $100,000 to get your fucking brains beat in, I guarantee you they fucking take the money and less damage. So anybody talking that shit, stop. Just fucking stop. You sound dumb. It doesn't make sense. At what, bro? That's what I tell people. It's what I tell people about Floyd. That's what I tell people about Floyd all the time. I go, you can feel how you want to about him personally, right? That's not on me to fuck. You feel however you want to feel about the man personally, but from a boxing perspective, he's the best. He is the fucking best, right? To go out there and make as much money as you have, elevate as many people to pay-per-view status as you have, can still do it in exhibition fights. Everything he does still garners fucking hundreds of millions of dollars. To have all your faculties in place, to not take damage, to be and to be a fucking thorn in everybody's side, because people live in this fantasy world where they feel like in real life the villain gets their comeuppance. It's not how fucking life works, right? So he gets to be that villain that never got his and live in everybody's heads rent free, right? So that's the model. Get your money, win your fights, get the fuck out with the least amount of damage. That's what this is supposed to be. And anybody in that spot's going to do the exact same fucking thing. So, or they should if they were smart. If not, best of fucking luck. But yeah, it's just like you can't hate. It makes no sense to hate on people for doing that.
Not to mention his win streak.
And if you're like, well, it's not exciting, right? That's not exciting to me. It's like, bro, well then tell the other guy to finish it. Yeah. Right?
Why don't you get your ass in there and make it more exciting?
Right. Then go show me how it's done, superstar. Go out there, guns blazing, Doc Holliday. Show me what's up. You know what I'm saying? But you're not. You ain't fucking fought.
Go in there, man.
You ain't fought since 2nd grade. You know what I'm saying? And you got beat up then. You know what I'm saying? Let's fucking stop.
Did you really fight then?
Right. You see what I'm saying? For real.
With that being said, who do you want to see Belal fight next?
I mean, I'm biased, bro. I want to see him run it with Leon back, bro. That's what I want. I feel like he's beaten everybody that they put in front of him. He's dominated everybody put in front of him. His rematch with Luka, you know what I mean? They were saying, oh, he's gonna do this, go out there and smoked him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, what else? What else does he have to do at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's done everything. He's beaten everyone. Give him his title shot, man. Give it to him.
You're not wrong, dude. Like I said, we've been singing the praises of Belal for a minute. Next time you talk to him, you got to tell him to rock with us one of these days. But I'm with you. I want to see him fighting for the belt real soon. But we've been keeping you for quite a while, man. I know you got some other shit to do. So before we let you get out of here, for anybody that's on the fence, we've already shown that other people have already hopped off the fence now that they know that Shane T is on Ring of Honor Final Battle. But for anybody who's on the fence and needs a little push to be checking out ROH Final Battle, let them know what they're in store for. And all of you guys who are just joining, we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about why Keith Lee. We talked about how JD Griffey factors into this. We talked about Shane's plans for what else he wants to do in AEW and why AEW. So there's a lot of good things in here. If you guys came in late, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But like I said, for anybody who's on the fence for ROH Final Battle, what do we got coming this weekend?
Final Battle, you get to see the return of the most dangerous striker in all of professional wrestling. At Final Battle, you get to see friendships explode, tag teams, try to work things out. You get to see all this drama play out right in front of you, along with seeing four of the very best athletes in this sport compete at a level that is going to be absolutely phenomenal. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, if you're a hardcore, if you're a casual, whatever the fuck, you are going to want to watch this pay-per-view because it will be worth every single dime that you put into it. Not only do you have us, but you've got Chris Jericho and Claudio Cast and Yoli, Juice Robinson and Samoa Joe, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. You've got Mercedes Martinez against Athena, two of the very best women's wrestlers on the fucking planet. You've just got so much on this pay-per-view already. It's going to be absolutely incredible. And you do not want to be the person that on Sunday, when everybody else is talking about how dope this was and this moment and that moment and all the shit that they saw, you do not want to be the person going, huh, what happened? You don't want to be that guy, right? So go ahead, order the pay-per-view, be there to be able to witness all the shit live, and come rock with us, man.
Hey, man, me and J-Bone were already talking about it. There's a lot of shit going down this weekend, but I know I, for one, will be watching Ring of Honor Final Battle. Hey, to all of you guys who checked this one out, all the new people, all that good stuff, we appreciate you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to our sponsors, G3 Payroll and Tax, and our sponsors at Michigan Finest. Use that code KO3MF, get you 10% off your order. And this Saturday, before we watch Ring of Honor Final Battle, we're handing out Christmas cheer to you motherfuckers. It's the annual Michigan Finest and US 12 Toys for Tots Toy Drive. And if you follow us on social media, you already seen it. I'm bringing these people a steel cage match, all right? So if you got toys, want to help out holidays, make sure you do that. Check us out, US 12. And until next time, in the in-between time, you better not miss Ring of Honor Final Battle because it's going to be the baddest you ever seen, boy. Peace.